make a nice little "Hey everyone" message to let them know that we're on the trading floor. Let's see. Dude, my broken toe still hurts.
Why'd you break your
Dude,
toe?
Quit being a pussy, bro.
dude, no, my pit bull jumped on it today by accident. Not good. Some fucking person put a door there.
Nikki, do you know if I trade CPI, I'll get my account canceled?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I just only started fucking around with Apex. But
Didn't
I
you
don't usually
pass
trade
it
news
on the
anyways.
last CPI?
Me, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's because
Dylan did.
Dylan.
well, I don't know if it's because I only had one set of limit orders on one side. I'm scared, like if you did both on both sides, it would cancel you.
That
Oh,
that
well.
would suck.
I mean, Apex is pretty cool about like a lot of their rules with like news and all that, from what I've heard.
I think I might like call them or something just to make sure, because you bet your ass I'm trading CPI.
Did you get another account with the Save 80?
No, I'm still on my first one. Or actually, technically my second, because I liquidated my first one in the first day. But
Shit.
did you?
Ain't shit. I respect it.
Dude, it's because I forgot about the trailing drawdown, dude. That shit is so tough.
I mean, the static one is like 637 or whatever. And it's like 147 a month or whatever. But I think it's so much better if you could get like off that original hurdle.
Yeah, I'm making my way. My trailing's back to 500.
There you go. Boom. Yeah, now the party be bussin'.
What do we have for data? Let me pull that up. Oh, come on. God damn it.
Dylan's kind of like Data from like the Goonies.
Shut the fuck up.
Anybody do anything fun this weekend?
Fuck no. Fuck no.
I went and saw Christmas lights, man.
That's always fun.
Yeah, it was dope. What about you?
I didn't do shit, man. Went shopping for Christmas stuff, but that's about it.
Dude, my fiance, we went over to like a friend's house to help paint, and I was like, dude, this is gonna be great. Like, I get to just like fooster around and not really do nothing. Motherfucker, I had to cut in the entire ceiling. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what? Yeah, it's bullshit. Cut that shit in like a pro, though. Oof, the cleanest of lines. All right, here we go.
So, non-manufacturing. I don't know how big non-manufacturing PMI is.
I have no idea.
Balance of trade. I don't know if that's big either. These don't look. I think PPI and core PPI, or I think this is probably gonna be your biggest mover of the week.
I think PPI is gonna be adventurous, especially because PPI will lead CPI. So it would be interesting, like if we get PPI info and we don't get the move that's like is correlated to that, I might open up a swing for like a Friday expo in the next week, like a week out, and try to capture the CPI move
Down
on
or
Tuesday.
up?
Well, it depends on the way PPI prints, right? Like, so if it's like bullish information on PPI, but we don't get the move, then I'll open up a call when it gets to like a level or whatever, and vice versa.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it looks like we have ISM non-manufacturing 30 minutes after open on tomorrow. Balance of trade at 6:30 on Tuesday. I will not be up for that. I'm not going to be trading that. I'll be up, but I don't think that's that big. Wednesday you have your crude oil and gasoline. That's normal. And then I think Friday might be PPI, core PPI, and then consumer sentiment. That's usually pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Friday is kind of the big day. Otherwise, not too much going on in terms of data.
Not really. Hopefully we get something though.
But yeah,
I mean, even right now though, we're at a big level in my opinion.
super big level.
I mean, if you really look, like we kind of accepted the price on those last two massive pump candles. Like we broke the range and established this new range. So I'm gonna be interested. Like if we reject here, I'm gonna be targeting like 836 to the downside. With like if 944 is gonna be the next big level too, in my opinion. Like depending on this, if we pump, it's gonna be fucking crazy.
So
We're
I
gonna go all the
think
way up to like 92.
you do have a little bit more room on NQ to go up into this area.
You're not streaming.
That's not what I wanted. So I think you may have a little bit more room on NQ, and I think ES may end up faking some people out if we can push up here. But overall, I don't see us breaking like this swing high or anything in the near future.
Hey Van, do you think you're streaming right now?
Oh, fuck me. Oh, jeez, I just went through all that without even. God damn it.
No. But it sounded really, really good.
Fuck. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
God damn it. So
It's
yeah,
alright, Dad. You'll
as
learn
far as
technology.
data, Friday is probably the biggest. Otherwise, we don't have to worry about too much. We don't have any. Oh, we have the blackout date or blackout week on Fed speakers too, so that's nice.
Ooh. They don't get to talk. Shut up!
But yeah, so that's that. Now that everybody can see it. Fuck. And then ES. I mean, we haven't really rejected yet, and we're kind of in this supply zone. So I think up here, I think you got a little bit ways to go. And I know Dylan from Investitrade is looking to short basically like 4140 to 4150. So this little area up here.
Yeah, because like if you put that on that 1 hour though, real quick. See, no, zoom back in. See how you got that like red lightsaber candle right in the middle that rejected that top trend line?
Yeah.
And then from there, you have that range established on that upper side from that like wick and then that bottom of those bodies. And then we have that drop candle. We come back up. All those prices on those last two pump candles are accepted. So if we reject here, we're going to be rejecting that top range.
Right.
Does that make sense? And then I would be targeting that wick on that red lightsaber candle for like a trim or an ad spot if on the downside for putties.
Yeah, I think this area right here, like 4050 is kind of like your make or break in this range now.
Yeah.
This is the
I think we're gonna
200
come back
day
down.
moving average as well. But yeah, so I definitely wanted to kind of see if I can take a short with Dylan on this 4150 area. But I don't think this big move down is going to happen until Powell or CPI because there's really no catalyst to dump us at the moment.
Like I said, I think PPI could lead the charge because PPI is just the step before CPI, so you could still make like some very good like inferences on how CPI is going to print.
Right.
But I think you're right.
Because if CPI comes in lower, you'll probably shoot up, and then we may dump on Powell, or vice versa too. I mean, if CPI comes in hot after coming in cold or cooler, there's always like the possibility too of Powell hiking rates more than 50 because I think the market's priced in 50 for this time. So if there's anything different from that,
That was 100% that rally. It's just that offset, right? Money's becoming a little less expensive based off that 25 less percent base hike, right, from 75 to 50. And because of that, you get that rally that goes, meaning that we just need more dollars.
Right. So yeah, this trend line, and then once you get under like 39.50, like this is going to be probably confirmation to the downside because you really never broke this whole area. I mean, really more like 3,900 probably, but this whole area is kind of like your major area where like the buyers need to step in constantly. But my worry is that you get like a CPI type thing, and you get a move like this, and it just cuts through every level.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're at a tough area, so we'll have to just kind of take it day by day, I think. But I don't think there's going to be any super large moves until next week or the following week, I should say. So, as far as support and resistance, my next is 4120. So if you can get above like Friday's high, because that was a huge hammer, and we just basically, like Nick said, we accepted all the prices from this big green candle. So I'd probably either be looking to play a bounce down here because the trend is up. So I think we should be looking for longs until it changes really. Looking to either play a bounce at like 40-38 area, or if you start breaking the highs of Friday, like this green dotted line, look for a push into 4120, because I don't think there's anything really stopping us. I mean, you do have this really strong zone right here, but
And we teased it and then dropped right out.
I know, so which like makes me think it's not that strong because we came back to it too. So there's this other larger zone too, stronger zone at like 4150. So I
Even
think,
if, like you said, if you break that, you might get that wick to that top and then that immediate suffocation too.
right, which is where Dylan's taking his trade, is basically above this like white line, above like 4130 or 37 is where he's looking to short. So we're pretty damn
Which makes
close to it.
sense. Because you probably also have a bunch of people looking to take profit right around there too. That's going to get that last little pop.
Right.
All those sellers bleeding it up.
I mean, and like this is there's a bunch of people that have sold here like really strongly when these drops. So
Yeah.
it would make sense that if they're getting this price again, they're also going to want to sell again.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as far as NQ, that kind of makes sense too, to push a little higher. I mean, I have a 30-minute that's like lines up right here. I don't know how strong that is though. Let's see. It's not the greatest, but it's kind of an area here. Otherwise, I don't really have much until 12,700. Because I'm thinking maybe 12,500. That's like the top of the zone. So you could get a push basically right into this trend line over the next few days, and then reject at it.
That'd be a healthy push.
Which is why I think you could get that, because I mean, yeah, it's about 400 points up, and right now our average is 277. So that'd be like 2 or 3 days of just going up, or we chop around and get to it. But
well, price really rejected that top of that trend line too, which makes it a little bit more bullish, like right on that smaller one. Yeah. And then you can even see where that where we were pulling back before. I could see price running right back to that level, right where we rejected last time, like up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like right about there, pulling back a little bit more to there, and then just having it go up, up, up and away.
Yep. So yeah, that's where one of my levels is too, 11,920.
Yeah.
I didn't see this fucking line on Friday. If I did, dude, we should have just fucking longed that shit.
Loaded the boat.
God damn it. It was so clear.
Yeah.
But I did not.
Liquid called that out, bro.
You did?
No, Liquid did.
Did he? Fuck.
Yeah, I longed that shit.
And then you didn't hold it, man.
Man,
PB.
At least I longed it, bro.
It's true.
Yeah, and then I mean, if we break out here, I think you can get a test up into this area. So I think
here's the thing though. What is that on that little choppy range to the upside? What is the bottom of those candles? Yeah, go to the bottom of those candles. Up, no, up. Yeah, what level is that?
Right here.
Yeah, that might be a nice. That's gonna
pretty
be
close
big
to 12,000.
Yeah,
roughly. Yeah,
because that's that bottom of that structure, right? Like, so if this is the spring, theoretically, we need to accept here, and then we'll pump to the top of the structure aggressively, or we're gonna reject, and this is gonna be the downside slide.
Yeah.
Downside slide.
And this is like the halfway point in between the two levels as well. I thought it held it really well, actually.
Yeah.
But
Look at that light brick handle.
I think looking for longs overall is probably the better move this week so far, because really, I mean, you haven't broken this uptrend at all. Granted, the Nasdaq's weaker than ES, but it's still an uptrend. But I think once you start getting maybe to this level, you could probably short something. Because we'll probably have to come back and retest, because this is a pretty strong level too. I mean, we overshot a little bit, but tested it twice.
I don't know.
So
I think as much as we want to go long, I just still like shorts.
I mean,
just
it'll just
don't
have to
know.
be at the levels. You just have to. I mean, for like me personally, I mean, there's probably a zone down here too somewhere I'll have to mark out. But either looking for a bounce here, or to see what happens at like 12,100 or 11,900, basically. Since we're right in the middle, there's really nothing for me to look at or do at this point.
Just spectating.
Yeah.
Anybody else has any interesting plays for the week? Come on.
Any stocks? Because I haven't looked at any stocks, but I do have my
Stonks, dude?
options account.
Fucking stonks, bro. The only stonks I play is fucking QQQ. Is there anything in China that's in play? Because I know motherfuckers were making bake on that shit the other day.
You guys think that high volume hammer from Friday on ES is bullish or bearish?
I think it kind of shows chop. I mean, really, like if you get like a or if you get a wick on a candle, it's technically a doji, which is just a range. I think it's more bull. I mean, I think we're holding up pretty well because we tested underneath the 200 moving average, and now we're holding above it. So I think as long as we stay above that, I'm a little more bullish personally.
Stay above those lows?
Yeah, I
or
mean
above the moving average?
both. I mean, I think as long as you like 40, probably 50 to 40, 35 holds, because that's what I want to see hold. Because this was previous resistance, and now we wicked at it and bounced up. So, like as long as that holds, I'm pretty bullish for the short term.
Gotcha.
I think that's a lot of volume to suck back up too. Like it pushed all the way down, then pushed all the way back up, or is it low volume, or am I just stupid? Oh, it's low volume. Never mind.
It's not that low. I mean, it's probably average. It's not super
I think
big,
that's
but
low now.
the volume has definitely died off as we've gone up for sure. I mean, like you see the sell off here, and you just got volume just going up, and as we're rising, overall you're kind of just trending down more so, but you are getting these spikes, which are happening on the green candles. So the trend is up, but the volume's a lot lower.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like a retest down here again of like 40, 50. That would be a nice long.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's any zones.
There's one right there.
You got a 30-minute. I would like that a little lower, but 45, 90. And what is the... Yeah, you kind of have like your little volume node there. That's probably as low as you're going to go, which is basically just holding the 50 or the 200-day moving average. So that might not be a bad place to long. But overnight, you don't really know what's going to happen, so I don't like trying to figure out what I'm going to do too much.
No. It's gonna be fun.
Let me see what NQ. See, NQ level looks a lot better right at this level. I like, and then you got the volume there too.
It's actually like beautiful.
That's really nice. So 11,950, 930.
I want to see what happens too for the price to like actually hold up. See that double the wick right there on the 30? All the way to the right. Yep, to the left now. In the middle. Yeah, those two. The top of those wicks to where that bottom wick is, that's the level right there.
Right.
Like if we break below that, I would take a short and just ride that back down to that demand zone. And just like scalp that back down to that demand zone.
Right. Yeah, I
And
could
from there
definitely see
slide
that.
back in long. And then I would start looking long back up again. That's because we play fast as fuck, boy.
But overall, yeah, I'm just looking for something in this area, or once we get up here, maybe we can start pushing into this zone above. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens.
Magic. Anybody else? Dylan, what are you looking for?
That's all I got.
I'm just looking to print, bro.
Oh man.
I don't give a fuck what it is, man. I'm just making money.
Yeah, I like that play though. Not yours, Nick.
I appreciate
Just playing.
it.
Just playing.
Yo,
long
isn't
grip.
Dylan supposed to be timed out this week?
You don't have proof, bro.
Oh man.
I deleted that shit.
Do we have chat logs? Is there like history like on deleted messages?
No.
You don't know that.
But yeah, that's it, man. That's all I got. Just playing bounces.
Bounce. Alright. Well then if that's that, then we could always go book club. Does anybody have questions, comments, and or concerns? Y'all are a bunch of liars, but that's fine.
I feel like these levels aren't that great on ES. They're kind of, they're all right.
Was that still the 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't looked at ES in years now. As soon as I switched over to NQ, I pretty much stopped looking at ES altogether.
Really?
Which then sucked, because like 2 weeks later, then it was like, oh, ES is nice. I was like, son of a bitch.
Word.
Alright, book club time?
Let's do it.
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's be like fucking nerds.
How do I stop streaming? There we go.
Alright. And Ben, you said you're recording, yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad. Alright, so we got the book club, right? Chapter 3 was going over finding the root, right? Some of his on reading Rainbow, right? LeVar used to always say hi. It was the most common quote from him. He used to say in the beginning of every episode, and then take a look, it's in a book. Bada boom, bada boom. All right. So we got the inchworm method, right? What it do? I talked to Dylan about this, and I think even Elias. It's a way to like really spot how to improve and how we want to improve. Right. It allows you to be more organized with improvement. Defines your current range of decision making, the realistic scale of your skill, and it helps you label your range, your A, B, and C game. Again, the inchworm method. You got to think about the way the inchworm moves, with pushing the weights forward and then moving the back end in. It's like a bell curve, right? That's why we're going to go to this pretend mathematical model, right? It's a bell curve. Your C game, your B game, and your A game. And that's how we're going to start labeling it. And it's going to be your inchworm, right? You're going to focus on your C game issues, which then pushes your game forward. When that happens, you're going to then push your A game forward. If not, you're just extending your range. And if you're extending your range, what ends up happening, right, is when you had like an oopsies that you thought you fixed, oversizing, thought you could cut or whatever else. That's when your range is just extended. And just like this little fella right over here, this is your range, and as you improve, it just keeps moving and moving up and everything else, right? It's like a squiggly line. So what you got to do is you got to create the process model. The book that we're reading right now doesn't go too much into it. But what it is, it's the preparation, right? The access to your A game is through your preparation. So you're going in, like Van and I, making your pre-market plans, doing a warm-up, getting ready for the market or whatever else. It helps you get better. And it helps you access your A game. No different than like stretching before an event. The performance results and your performance and results, those speak for themselves, right? Then your evaluation. What level were you at? This goes after you're done trading. What level you're at. You want to write that down, journal it like we've been saying for the past 3 weeks. And by doing that, you're going to notice certain things and certain patterns, right? Again, you're going to be in your B game a lot. When you're in your B game, you'll be able to notice certain patterns and everything else that you could pick out and say, all right, this is the strength of mine. Let me work on this and push this forward. And then analysis, right? You're always going to want to improve. You're going to be taking it from the back end and your front end, right? So this is the meat and potatoes. This is the fun part. This is what we need to be looking for and labeling. I'm not going to go over all of these because I'm not doing it. But your mental A game, B game, and C game. This is what a C game would look like. Would be like if you're distracted, you're jumping ahead of trades, whatever else. A game, you're not second guessing yourself. You're very relaxed. You're just pulling the trigger, right? And a lot of times we're going to be in our B game, where we're losing focus, trying to refocus. We're peaking out our P&L. We might be holding, but we're in more pain because we're peaking. So that's going to be your B game. Tactical skill. This is, again, clear understanding of the market context. Like, that's why I trust your gut, right? Pretty self-explanatory, but you're going to want to write this down for yourself. Even if you use this as the template now, use it, and then almost like a bingo card, circle what you got to work on, and then work on those things, right? Right. Well, I want to cut because I don't want to give back profits, right? But why is this logic flawed? Well, because if you're sitting here risking 10 points and you're cutting after 2 points, it doesn't make sense. Or if you do all this work, there's reasons why it's not going to make sense. What did pop up there? Okay, here. Open your ears, Dad. Explain why the logic flawed. Create a correction to that flawed logic, right? If I never hold, I'm never gonna hit these big plays. Explain why that correction is correct. Holy stroke. Oof. Again, self-explanatory, but you want to explain it. Like the book says, it might take several days and multiple attempts to complete all 5 steps. That's definitely true, right? Because you're gonna write it down and then you're gonna be like, oh shoot, that's wrong, and then you're gonna go back and fix it and just keep working on it and fixing it. And again, this isn't like a one-time, one and done thing. Once you progress, once you get better, you're gonna want to keep updating this. Emotion is never the flaw. Emotion is the signal. Thinking otherwise is like saying a fever is the cause of the flu. I think that's like the perfect quote, especially when everybody's like, be emotionless. Never gonna happen. So instead of trying to be emotionless, let's use those emotions, dig into it, and actually use those to find the root cause of our issues. And then look back at it, right? The way we progress is not only by pushing our A game forward, which sounds really great, and that's the fun stuff, right? That's reading new stuff, learning new theories, sizing up. That's the fun stuff. The real issue is looking back at it and fixing our back end issues, right? And not ignoring it and not sitting here and being like, oh well, it's not my fault that this happened, or yeah, I did that once, but that's one off. It doesn't matter. It's like, especially on Sim or all these other accounts, oh, I only did it once. I only blew my account once on Sim. It's like, yeah, but you still blew your account. So let's look into why, right? Because it still affects your P&L, it still affects your profitability, everything else. And what that looks like for your C game and everything else, or your back end of your game, forcing mediocre trade setups, right? Sitting here all day and then just pulling the trigger just cause. Hesitating on entries, exiting trades too early, chasing the market up and down, moving your shot, like all these things that we all do, right? But we're going to use these, right? And you're going to plug and play, hesitating on entrance or entries in your problemo, and then you're going to detail it all out. And that's going to help you push that back end forward and improve instead of just extending your range out and then having these catastrophic days that just down draw you to everything, right? So that's it. Again, we're not going to go too long on these. But if anybody has questions, let's talk about it. No questions. Really? Ah, shoot.
So I have a question. Do you think it's easier to bring up your C game or make your A game better?
I think it depends on which way, right? Like there's certain issues in your C game that are easy to like push forward. Like I know a lot of people will make a pre-market analysis or whatever else and then not trade at their area of interest. They might jump ahead of the trade. So if you're like, all right, I'm just going to trade at my area of interest, it's kind of easier to work that C game issue out rather than an A game issue that might be something more complex, right? And it's also important to realize that as you progress, you're going to hit more plateaus, and people usually get upset about plateaus or just not feel great about them, that they're not improving anymore. But the reality is that each plateau is going to last longer and everything else, but it's because your issues are going to be so much more niche, right? So don't get discouraged the longer that you're not also improving, but continuously work and you'll actually still improve, if that makes sense.
It's kind of like the price action too. Like just because you leg up and then you consolidate, and then you're just kind of holding, like doesn't mean you're not getting better or anything because you're just like the next breakout's going to be really big, right? So like the longer
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
plateau, the bigger the breakout is usually. But I think
Right.
overall, from like someone who's trying to make their game better, I think trying to bring the C game up is easier than making your A game better because the C game is usually just not doing dumb things,
Yeah.
whereas the A game is a little bit more complex, I think.
Well, I think you brought up a good point because a lot of the C game issue is just not doing things we know we shouldn't be doing when the A game is learning things we don't know about.
Right.
Right. So it's C
So, like-
game is more discipline issues.
Yeah, it's like just sticking to your rules,
Yeah.
whereas the A game is like learning something more in depth or yeah.
hmm And the problem is that most of the times is we always want to focus on how do we make money, but the real issue to profitability is focusing on what loses us money, right?
That's
And
what
again,
I've
that's going to
noticed.
be your C game issues.
That's what I've noticed too. Like if you can lose less, you're gonna end up making more. So if you work on just not losing money, like kind of like I said, like not trading at an area that you're not supposed to trade. If price opens up in the middle of an area that you're not trading, just wait. Like you don't have to take a trade the first 15, 30 hour of the market if it's not in your area. Just wait for it because like the more often you do trade outside your rules and zones, the more often you're going to lose. And if you would just wait, just keeping the money in your account that you have is like half the battle, honestly.
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing I think. Like I know I work with a couple people, and it's like I only trade at 2 locations. That's it. Everything else to me is just noise on my scout plays. Like I just wait. And everybody wants to jump in and play these fast trades. But if you just wait when price actually gets there and you have the confidence to take that play, you're going to be able to make it back on your confidence and size in,
And I think that'll
And then
help
you
with the confidence too, because like your confidence gets shot when you lose on trades. Well, if you're taking trades in the middle of areas you're not supposed to be, you're going to lose more often. So your confidence goes down versus just waiting, and then execute, like at the area that you're supposed to, which is kind of
100%.
like the homework I gave out is like honestly because like at least I see a lot of us taking trades within like the first 15, 30 minutes every day, and not every day is a good time to take that first 15-minute candle,
100%. I think one thing that would blow people's minds is if they actually track their profitability based on the time they trade. And then seeing when they actually lose the most money. And I guarantee you a lot of people would be losing the money in the first 15-minute candle.
like
They'll
the
be
time of
losing
day.
money right after 11 o'clock. Like I know for myself, I make my most money at like 9:45 to like 10:30. Everything else is usually donations. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just giving shit back.
Not-
It's just
Not to cut you guys off, but like I think for me, like this week at least, trading with one contract is like the hardest thing ever, or one lot or whatever you want to call it, just because you can't take profit or you can obviously, but like I had a couple trades where I started out being up like 25 points, reversing on me, and then like I moved my stop loss, which I probably shouldn't have done. However, like I would have been stopped out anyway for a greater loss. So I mean, it might have been like emotionally me protecting myself a bit, but at the same time, it was like, I could have secured at 25 points and then been cool. But I also, it wasn't my plan. So like, I'm cool with losing it, but it's so hard not to be able to be like, all right, well, let me cut this one and leave the other one as a runner,
Right.
Well, that's why I naturally became more of a scalper because I never had that big account. And then just from like doing that and trying to build my bankroll, I naturally became more of like a scalper. But I think in the beginning, like it's almost has to be more of like a boomer bust mentality to build your bankroll on like an account with like when you're playing one contract. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know how Van feels about that.
I don't think it
It's
should
a
make a
lot harder.
difference.
It makes such a big difference though because if you're trying to just hit your profit targets, right? Like if you're saying I wouldn't cut in before my profit targets, right? That's why we have the profit targets as it is. But when you want to talk about like multiple R and everything, it's going to be based on that free runner just going now.
I mean, you can always get back in on a trade. So like on that one trade where price like dropped down after like the data came out, and then I cut like because I cut everything at like 50, 60 points, I think, because I knew that we had dropped. I think we went straight down for like 150 points or something like that. And I was thinking, okay, like this is probably going to have to flag at some point. I can always get back in once we pull
Yeah.
back. And then just kind of knowing that the market's been like not really super directional and we've been getting maybe like 50, 60 points and then it comes back to our break even, just knowing kind of how the market's acting and then taking those profits and then looking like, okay, I can always get back in once we pull back, you know.
100%. And I think Jay, even with that, it's more about, I know you're saying like profits, points, and everything else, but it's really based on your R too. So like, at least, and I could be wrong about this, but if you're playing one contract or whatever, if you're just really paying attention to having like a good R play, you're gonna build your bankroll, and then those issues that you're having over time will, lessen. And like Van said, if you're just if you understand that you could get back in and playing for good R, then you could keep making those plays if the opportunities present themselves, instead of letting these things maybe run red on you or whatever else. I don't know. I scout.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Maybe taking profit when I got it and then kind of just knowing like, hey, I can get back in if it keeps going, just looking for that pullback
Yeah.
and kind of playing it a little bit safer instead of risking a little bit more.
Yeah. What do you think, Van?
Yeah, I mean, I think getting out at like areas that like make sense. So like not just getting out because you have a profit, but say you got in a trade and now you're up like 25 to 30 points like you said, but you're at an area that it could bounce from or like reject from, then like that makes sense. But I think there always needs to be a reason for taking profits that's not just I'm in profit.
Yeah. Well, that's like I know in the playbook by SMB and like Mike Bellafier or whatever the fuck it is.
Uh-huh.
They even say it's like every trade should have a reason to cover,
Right.
right? And that reason to cover needs to be something tangible and like you said, not just because PNL is pretty.
Like yeah, it should be based on the chart and like the price action.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if sometimes they even say like it could be an internal clock, like price might be at a level for X amount of time. And once you're, like then you might have a little bit of like a trader intuition where you're like, okay, this is clearly not going to go my favor.
Right.
But I think starting out, I think that's a slippery slope if you want to introduce that, just because trader intuition is usually like wrong. So, yeah, I don't know.
Because like on that trade that I took when we dropped down, I was looking at the VWAP bands and we had crossed over them, but we weren't at demand yet. And so I was thinking, all right, this is probably going to be tough to like keep going. So we're
Mhm.
probably going to pull back, but I don't want to be part of the pullback since I'm already like 60 points in profit, even though we're not at like the 80 to like 100 points that I wanted. But if I get out here, if this flags, then I can get back in. But since we were so far extended to the downside, that was my reason for getting out, thinking that, this like price usually doesn't just drop and drop and drop straight down.
Right.
and I didn't want to be part of that pullback, knowing that, the last probably couple weeks I've had a decent amount of trades that were up 50, 60 points come back to break even or even stop me out,
But
after
those
being
things
up in like
slingshot
40.
go fast too. They'll drop, and then just as fast as they're dropping, they're wicking right back up.
Yeah. And I think that's probably gonna happen in this area too, just because it's such a tough area that we're at. Like
Right.
like once we get back to trending downward and like the bear market trend, I think you'll be able to hold your shorts a lot longer and be a little more safe with it. But going like these counter trends, it's just like up and down like so fast.
Well, see, that's the other thing I was trying to figure out, even for myself. Like, one of my reasons to cover right now is that outer band, right? Like, let's say I'm short and we've dropped, and now our price is like approaching the outer band. That's been a reason to cover. But, like you said, if we're gonna flag, then I'm not really my rule set. Like, oof, we would have to get so far. We would have to get so far away from the outer band to be able for me to short back in. But if you have that demand zone, like I don't even know if it makes sense to really have that as a reason to cover, because a lot of times we'll bounce and then go right back down. Just, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I wonder if it's better to hold that for that slow bleed down, because a lot of times we will bleed down, or like you said, just size back in at the top.
Well, like that's what's tough with those outer bands too, is because granted, lots of moves don't extend past them very much, but strong moves will ride them
Dude,
for 15 to like an
ouch.
hour, like
Yeah.
they'll ride that outer band, and so you can't really short it or play counter to it.
And like you said, like that's the problem too, is that it will hit that band. And that band, if there is those momentum, that band will just literally just turn straight down.
It'll catch up, yeah.
Yeah, it just goes straight down and then just expands with it. But that's why we use that dom. That dom, da dom, dom, dom. Then, does anybody have a question? Or anybody want to say anything? Elias, you ain't got nothing to say. Okay.
I just want to say that the thing that you created is freaking amazing. It's very detailed. Nobody has it. They should get it.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, but like you don't. What do you think is gonna happen this week?
I haven't been on the charts. I've been sick all weekend, to be honest. So I'm just, yeah.
That sucks.
That just sucks. Mystic Matt, you don't got nothing to say? Otis, you ain't got nothing to say? Y'all are so shy and quiet. I swear to God.
I'm just ready to print, man. That's it.
They just print. Alright, shit, whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. Hopefully we get a little choppy action, a lot of volatility, you know what I mean?
Do you have any more on your?
Well, no, this was just like I said. This I know going forward on this, we're gonna be doing 2 chapters, just because one chapter kind of just doesn't really accomplish anything.
Right.
But like I said, it was really just labeling your problems and then focusing on picking up your back end of your game and pushing your front end forward. And
And I
just
think
mapping
that's
it all
I
out.
think that's another thing too, is if you don't have goals going into the day, you should try and have like 1 to 2 goals.
Yeah.
And they should be goals that you're in control of. So like your profit, you aren't really in control of that, but you're in control of like taking plays at a zone, or like waiting for candle closes, things like that. And so if you go into each day with a goal, or like 2 of them, like I probably wouldn't have more than 2, because if you have 5, you're bound to not do all of them. Have like 1 to 2 goals that you need to work on that you haven't been doing super well on in the past, and then I'd have 1 or 2 things that you do well, and then keep doing it well. Like maybe you size well, like you don't really size up, so your goal should be to keep your size the same as you have been. So that's what I would do, and that's what I usually do on like my stuff too, is have like goals where you need to fix or improve, and then things that you're doing well that you want to keep doing well.
Well, I think you bring up like a good point, because I know like in the daily trading coach, they even say like you need to have some goal or something that is in your control that means that you won on the day or the day is going to be successful. beside your P&L, right? And it could be staying risk off. It could be only trading in the area of interest or whatever else. But then that's also going to mentally help you. And like you said, having like the nice positive self-talk to like say, all right, this is what I'm good at, right? Let me continue that. A lot of people will neglect what they're actually good at and only focus on what they're bad at. And you have to realize, or at least in my position or opinion, your edge, like, you know, you're going to use Van's system, but out of Van's system, you have to personalize it for your strengths. And then that's how you have your own edge. I think a lot of people don't focus on their strengths to actually form their edge, and they try to just kind of like force it, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
We rambling tonight.
But yeah, you should definitely give yourself credit and kind of pat yourself on the back for stuff you do well.
Yeah.
Because it's super easy to focus on all the stuff you do wrong because everybody does tons of shit wrong every day when they trade. No one trades perfectly, you know. So it's pretty easy to like just be like, oh well, I fucked this up, I fucked that up, like, man, I suck. Versus looking at some of the things that you do well.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that you could, when you start not giving yourself credit, you start working into like a perfectionist mindset, and that's no bueno because in the market nothing's perfect, right? It will never be perfect, and it will start really having like performance anxiety and performance issues stemming from that.
Right.
And again, that's why, like you said, it's important to just label shit that you actually control.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
That it?
Like, that's all I got.
Cool.
Maybe we friend. That's why. Is there anybody else says anything? If not, I'm been done.
I'm ready.
We chill. Hell yeah.
It's been a long 2 days.
Bro, you're telling me. You're fucking. I'm so excited. Like, oof. We gonna pay this week. And like I said, honestly, everybody's all upset. Like, the shit's choppy, or we might get like, whatever. Dude, please, please give me the chop. Fuck this directional shit.
Thank you.
Give me range reversion shenanigans, and we size to the moon.
Nope.
Nope. Nope. Fuck that. Now, if we can get moves that are like only 30 points, oh, yes.
It's not even worth it, man.
Yeah, dude, I would love it. I would love it.
Cool.